Cheers,
bro.
great to have you.
Thank you, man.
Vision, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me, bro. Appreciate it.
Corey, you were just telling me about how you've been with your agent for kind of your whole career.
Yeah,
just being able to like build with her.
Yeah, I would say once my career started getting serious, I've been with her, and I'd say like right before the pandemic, really, like right during that time, and it's been great to have that relationship. It's she's a beast, man. She kicks ass.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love the strength behind it,
Yeah.
She'll
And
tell
I feel
me
like she knows your sound. Like
yeah,
she sounds like
yeah,
she knows like
she does.
really
She's
like
a
where
vet,
the place.
bro.
Yeah.
She's been in the game for a minute. For anywhere from, she works with Sasha to Nicole Mataber to Adam Beyer to Plaza. She's great at kind of touching every piece, and I feel like honestly I fit like right in between all of her artists.
I was about to say, it kind of feels like you are kind of right.
Yeah, I'm like right in between all of it, which is comforting. She gets my sound.
Yeah.
She's lived in New York for years. Now she doesn't. She lives in Miami, and I love the fact that she understands what I do as an artist. I'll send her a track and she'll be like, "Fuck, man, so good." I'm like, I love that. I love it. It's nice to know.
You need to have the like
do.
authentic cheerleaders and
you do
people who you trust, who aren't gonna blow smoke.
Absolutely,
but, like,
man.
who like will tell it like it is.
Yeah.
But, like
Team is
but you also
everything.
need those people who can lift you up when maybe you're a little uncertain
Of
about
course.
something.
And I think as an artist, you're kind of always second guessing yourself. As you're always chasing that hit, right? You don't want to chase it, but deep down inside, you're saying to yourself, which one is it going to be? Is it this one, that one, or the other one? Or I haven't made it yet. I suck today, this week. I suck in the studio. I'm done. And like, there's those times where you're just kind of lost in it, and you just you put that pressure on yourself to make something that might not be you. And I think the best time to kind of just give it a break is when you hit that point. Like I've given myself a week or two off of the studio, and I'm very adamant about going down there every night. I kiss my wife goodnight. She's in bed by 10:30. Both my boys.
You're a nighttime producer.
Oh yeah, man. I'll crack at it until 4
when the
o'clock in
kids
the morning.
are asleep.
It's my only time where this thing's not going off. No one's bothering me between all the other stuff that's going on, and I can be left alone. And it's the same way someone goes home and drinks a glass of wine. It's the same way someone goes and smokes their joint. I work on my music, and that to me is like my peace and quiet.
Your therapy.
And I feel like God down there sometimes, and there's days where I hate myself, but it is what it is. It's the journey, I guess,
Yeah.
It's something that if I didn't do, I'd be miserable. And I say that every time. Like everyone asks, like, you have all this stuff going on. Why you put so much pressure on your career? And I'm like, 'cause man, like when you love something that much, and when you've sacrificed that much into something, you're willing to do whatever it takes, outside of family life, that you're willing to do whatever it takes for your career.
Yeah.
And I tell someone, when everyone asks for advice, or anyone asks me, you have any advice? And I said, you have a full-time job, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well, listen, the same amount of effort you put into that full-time job, you should put into your career, because you have to make up those hours. I get you have to make money. I don't think there should ever be a starving artist. There's no reason to be a starving artist. You just got to put double the work in. You just got to want it that much. No, there isn't. There really isn't.
I mean, maybe these days there's some, but not yet.
AI and social media is helping that argument big time.
But I think to have longevity, there's not.
And I think that's the true time frame we're in right now, is that there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of the one-hit wonders, and then there's the guys that are going to be there for a really long time. And you know what? The guys that are there for a long time don't make $500,000 a show. Don't make $25,000 a show. They can make 10,000, 15,000, and you know what? They're happy as a pig in shit doing that, because they're getting paid very well to do the job they love to do.
On their terms.
On their terms, and on the music terms they want to have.
And there's so many examples of
so
those.
many.
So many. I mean, one of my like first favorite artists, like Derek Carter. But
yeah, I mean, come on, dude.
And like on his terms.
Yeah.
Like playing all
no
the
pressure.
time. But like he's not about the BS.
It's a lot of those Detroit guys are like about that life.
Yeah.
They're they don't sacrifice anything, you know, and it's all about the craft because they started it in certain ways. They started a scene, a movement. And I think when you come from something like that, or when you come from a city like that, that started a movement necessarily, you know the history, you have a bit more integrity to keep that living. And I think that's really important, being from New York and knowing that, you know, Paradise Garage was here, Studio 54, Limelight, Palladium, I mean, the Crowbar, the list goes on and on and on. At one point,
Tunnel.
yeah, this was the Mecca. I should have mentioned the Tunnel, Twilo. I mean, come on, bro. We're going.
I mean, then you got to even experience some of the kind of like
Yeah,
later
I got
iterations of
the
that.
exactly. You know, Sound Factory. There was just so many. The list goes on and on and on and on. But that was New York was the Mecca of that era. You know, people came from all over the world to experience nightclubs in New York, and that was a movement. And I think when you come from a city like that, you have a bit more on your shoulder to kind of dude, you have a little bit of a, I got to prove myself out here. I got to show that I could play for the heads, and I could play for, you know, I could play for the newcomers too. You know, and I think that's what makes that perfect balance of a DJ. Last week or 2 nights ago, I played in San Fran, your home city, and I saw a really good mix of a crowd. I saw the kid that just got here for the first time, and I saw the 40-year-old that's been in nightlife for a little bit that loves going out. And I loved watching the young crowd kind of adapt. You know, like I had a few people that came up to me after and they're like, dude, this was my first time hearing you, man. And like, I love the fact that I didn't know it. A lot of the records you played. I was on Shazam all night. I was like, first put your phone down and enjoy it. But it is a great compliment because you know what? That kid just became a fan of mine forever.
And maybe a fan of this whole new genre of music.
Exactly. And it reminded me of how I came up and how it started for me, you know, and I love that about this culture. I think you can't see that anywhere else. It's super, super important.
I mean, speaking of your start, I know you were telling me you kind of like first entry point to, you know, to music and DJing was like through your dad and kind of getting to play like the kind of like, you know, wedding gigs and develop that.
I don't want to ever do that again.
I mean, there's a reason you are where you are today, but I mean, you outgrew that, but then you over time kind of, you know, discovered like club culture, and it sounds like from earlier than most people, at least in the US, do.
I got an early break, which was super, super nice because
like how the hell does someone become a DJ at 15?
You know, it's funny because I started my music journey, I'd say, started at a very young age. My dad always had studios in my house. I grew up with a studio in my house. It's all I know. I started playing drums at 3. It's funny, now that my son, Anthony, my oldest son, is 1, and I show him the drum set, and he's hooked, loves it, begs to go play the drums. So I could see how I became very addicted to it. 3 years old, on the drum set, able to carry a groove, right? And then progressively, I just kept working on it, and I played drums my whole life. But I always had a strong ear, which I could play keyboards by ear, and I could pick up keys right by ear. So the natural ability was there, and my dad always was, he was programming the top 40 hits for his wedding band. So by programming, I mean like he was making instrumentals for his band to play over Robin S. Show Me Love, or, you know, at that time, Deborah Cox was huge, especially in New York. Like all those big Hex Hector remixes, those big dance remixes. Junior Vasquez was doing a ton of them. So he was big into that. So dance music has been in my life since I'm a kid. And around 12, 13, Virtual DJ came out. And I was playing with it on my laptop or whatever, playing with the horns and just, I don't know, messing around. And next thing I know, I asked my dad for, Dad, I need a Gemini CD mixer. So I start that, and I learned how to beat match by ear on the CDs. And then I kind of started going back in time. Like I was like, all right, now I need, I want vinyl. I want, you know, pioneers. But I was really hooked on the fact of like, I want to make my own remixes, Dad. Like I want to be able to play my own music. And
were you already kind of like hearing your your interpretation?
Yeah. I was like, I just want to. So like, Chicago was a band that I grew up listening to and I loved, you know, as a drummer. Danny Serafin is probably my favorite drummer of all time. And you know, hard for me to say I'm sorry. It was like a rock ballad from Chicago. And I remember telling my dad, I want to remix this into some, like, you know, a house track or like trance, whatever I was into at that time. And he would sit there with me rather than like playing PlayStation or, you know, throwing a baseball, which I was very big on. I was working on music with him.
A session.
Yeah. And he gave me his laptop, his old laptop, to kind of just experience like GarageBand and just start working loops together and picking keys and picking drums that would work together. So that's how it kind of started developing. And I was around like, say like 12, 13 years old. I was getting the feet wet for that. And then I remember like my freshman year of high school, around 14, was when I like got into Logic, and I used Logic because I was in band at the time. I was like half, you know, jock with baseball and half band geek with band. And like,
were you playing drums still?
yeah,
Okay.
I was playing drums. I was in all honors percussion. I was very serious, but it was something that came natural. And I wish I worked on it a little bit harder, because I would be 10 times better of a musician, you know. But, you know, being young, you're silly and you don't think that way. But for practicing in band in high school, I would practice my scales, because you have to learn tune percussion, which is marimba and all the bells and everything like that. So I would practice my scales on a piano with Logic. And that's when I started really messing around with Logic. And I've been on Logic since then. I'll never get off. Everyone's like, go Ableton, go Ableton. I'm like, no. And everyone tells me, yo, your tracks sound warmer. And it's Logic. It is. Yeah, I think Logic just has something about it that's just
a secret sauce.
It is. It's better. Just call it what it is. And I like the fact that you could mix vocals, and it has a little bit of like Pro Tools in it. So it's definitely a better processor in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I started messing around with Logic, and at that time, around 13, I also started my DJ company with my partner Joe, who's still my business partner. Yeah. We started doing private parties. I would go to weddings.
From a young
age. And you know what? It was just like, I grew up in that business, you know, DJing weddings, and my dad having the wedding band. Like, you knew what was going to come out of that. I started the DJ company, and sure enough, you book your first birthday party, or you book your friend's party. I'm still friends with the girl who booked us for our first gig. And I remember taking that $200 and saving it, and we bought ourselves a DJ facade. And then, you know, the next job we did, we saved and we bought our light system. And then the next thing you know, there's too much equipment and we need a van. And luckily, Joe's dad bought us our first van, and my dad gifted us our gear, a lot of our gear.
Wow.
So from that start,
like through high school, kind of.
Yeah, I would say like from freshman year.
Wow.
You know, dude, I mean, it paid for
like
our cars.
You were spending like.
By the time we got out of high school, we franchised one of the bigger entertainment companies in Staten Island, and we brought it to New Jersey. So by 19, me and Joe signed the franchise document, and we were, you know, full business owners, not knowing what the hell is going on. And we knew that business. Like, we knew, all right, we have Sweet 16s, weddings, and stuff like that. Mind you, I'm still in nightlife. I'm still embedded with that. Like, I started my teen night career at 15. I started playing Club Abyss. And those times were super important for me, man. Like, it taught me how to read a room as a DJ. It taught me that not everything I want to play, they want to listen to. And how do I get the balance of both? How do I teach them and also teach myself in a way to become a better DJ? And those times were that was all the playing field. That was all test out, whatever you want to test out. I used to make certain tracks just to play on certain nights. Like, it was very old school mentality driven. Like, I would make a track and
test it out.
Kids would ask me the next day or comment on my page, like, what remix was that? You know, and like, that's missing today.
Yeah.
And that's actually, I'm sorry, a lot of people are looking for IDs, but it was just such a different time where you couldn't grasp it that quickly.
Totally.
So you could,
and then you couldn't like necessarily go promote it on your Instagram.
Exactly.
And have the carousel.
No, you can't. So it was very hard to like get out of that for me. Like, I was a kid, I loved it. And then adult nightlife started turning the page. And like I said, you know, my cousin Victor had a Pasha residency. I started experiencing nightlife, adult nightlife at a young age. 17, started getting my feet wet.
I mean, what was that first moment like,
dude,
of like going from the teen nights to seeing what like kind of
it was
almost golden, kind of end of golden era New York.
It was it was amazing, man. And granted, like a lot of people would, oh, it's not Sound Factory. Sound Factory was a better club. Yes, okay,
Sure,
cool, whatever. I get it. I unfortunately was too young to experience that. And yes, I'm too young to experience Jonathan Peters for 48 hours on the dance floor. But I can't get mad at those things. You know, I can only experience what I was given.
exactly.
And I was very lucky that, call it what it is, my cousin's still to this day one of the best New York DJs that's ever played
Without a doubt.
in dance floors in New York, you know? So I was very lucky to experience that at that age because it taught me, like I said, how to read a room and just like the journey, man, like being able to dip in and dip out and really see people go hard for this type of music, to know that there's a market, you can make a living out of this, like all of that played a part in those early days, you know. First time I got snuck into District 36. It was on West 36th Street, and that eventually turned into Sankey's Ibiza, and then I think it ended up closing down. But I got snuck in. It was my birthday, and sure enough, I walk on the dance floor. There's a 4-point Gary Stewart stack sound system, sick, right? And I look up, and there's a huge disco ball, and I'm like, what's going on, man? Like, this is, and there's a few people that I know from being in the New Jersey club scene over there. Like, I got to meet a lot of older, you know, they weren't even old at that time. They were probably 23, 24 years old. I was just a baby. Yeah, I got to meet a lot of the people that would go out, and promoters were a huge thing back then. They were, you know, there was 30, 40 promoters that would promote one club, sometimes more. And I got really comfortable with a lot of people that would go out. So go upstairs, get walked into the elevator and go up, and there it is. It's Victor and the crowd in front of him, and I got to stand there for a few hours and just experience the whole nine. And I was just like mesmerized. I still remember some of the tracks I heard down. Like, I remember hearing Gary Beck when he just dropped on Saved Records, like the first EP he just released. I think it was shit. I'll think of it. Yeah, I'll think of it. Yeah. I'll send it to you. But like that era was, Tech House was really running the but it was proper Tech House. It wasn't today's Tech House. And all that stuff, I remember hearing everything that night and being like, what
like, whatever
the fuck is that, dude? I'm going home and I'm not sleeping. And then sure enough, you know, Victor would locked in his monthly residency at Pasha, and you bet your ass I was texting him to come in. I was probably annoying the hell out of him back then. And I know he says I wasn't, but I know how, I wouldn't overstep, but like, you know, I was a lot younger.
I'm sure he saw a kid who was passionate.
Of course, and we're family, and that doesn't, I knew where to draw the line, but I never wanted to overstep, and I always wanted to be respectful and be thankful that he was doing those things for me. But man, I still remember the first time I walked into Pasha, you know, I would call him Uncle Victor because he was older than me, and everyone knew my ass was coming into that booth. It was crazy, man. I remember, no, dude, I remember I had to go see Jared up front at security. I'd go in, it's 3 a.m. My mom was like, when are you coming home? And I'm like, Ma, I got another 4 hours here, so buckle up, like, just relax, I'm fine, we're good. And I didn't party, I didn't touch anything I wasn't supposed to. I was very respectful, and I still don't party to this day. I'll have a drink or two here and there, but, you know, everyone has their thing.
Yeah.
And I get in, and when you come up the stairs at Pasha, there was, if you make the first right, you can go straight, and you get walked up to the mezzanine. Victor liked to DJ on the mezzanine, not the square booth that everyone knew today, or yesterday, I should say. There was the mezzanine DJ booth, and that was kind of hidden, tucked away, not in front of anybody.
You're not kind of the center of attention.
You weren't the center of attention. And it was, bro, it was just, there was something about it. Red lights, everyone's kind of in their little pocket.
And then people are just looking around
and
like
there was
at each other, and they're not
There's no focus. There was no, other than the music.
Yeah.
And that to me was like, damn, man, this is it. I remember walking in, Kevin Williams, who was the A&R for Nervous at the time. And if you don't know who Kevin is, Kevin's a New York legend. He's founded a lot of DJs. He is responsible for a lot of the 8-Ball record stuff that came out in the early 90s. He's responsible for even Victor's first hit, Give It Up. And, well, one of the guys that's responsible for it. But Kevin comes in, he's like, "You're Victor's nephew?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's your name?" "Anthony." And I just, bro, he let me sit there all day. He was running the booth. I sat there and I was just in awe, in awe. I don't even, my friends couldn't even come into the booth with me. And I had a group of my older friends, my boy at the time, who's actually, he's still my business partner, my boy Nero. He runs our DJ company now. And he was my manager at the time. He was the guy that was, taking me out and having me experience the clubs and everything. And I'm still blessed to this day that, we're tight, man. Like it's really beautiful that we still have those memories and that bond and all that. And I'm happy we did that together because we grew together in a way. And I got to experience all that with him. And it was such a crazy time because none of my friends, I was 17, just turning 18 years old, and none of my friends could come with me.
College,
none of them could. They can't even get in. Yeah. I was the only one that can get in, and it was just crazy, dude. Like my mom would text me at 7:30 in the morning, "When are you coming home?" Not because she's worried. She's just like, "Dude, what are you doing?" Yeah, and I'd make my way home, and I would hit the studio right away because I was so inspired and influenced by it. Like I loved it. I wanted nothing more to touch that mixer and be up there, and little by little, sure enough, in time that opportunity came and we're here now. But it's something that I cherish and I hold on to a lot. And there's times where I play a big show and I still say to myself, like, damn, man,
think back to you in the
yeah, dude, like you have those wholesome moments where it's like, come on, dude, stop being so hard on yourself and like, look what you're fucking doing. This is awesome, But then there's the other side of me. It's the left brain. It's like, dude, shut up, man. You still got a lot more to do. Like, shut up. You didn't do shit yet. But that's the ride, and I love that about it,
Was there a moment for you when it, like, at least on the production side of things, like it kind of clicked?
Yeah.
Or like when you were like, I know I have this first record here.
Yeah.
And like,
it was
how
right.
do you then go about like getting that out into the world?
I think it was right around the time where I changed from Anthony Cardinale as my DJ name to Avision. And that's when I knew like I had a separate thing going on. I was getting more into underground techno and granted I still had a lot of housey feel to me, but I was going more techno. And I was just like, man, it's time. Like, I got to separate myself from everything I've done as a kid, 16 years old, 15 years old, releasing on Beatport. Like, you look kind of silly. Granted, it's nice to see.
But you were doing,
I was releasing. Yeah. Bro, I remember like I hit like top 20 on Beatport when I was 18. And it's like it was great times. There's a lot of people that throughout the journey were helping me out, and it was really nice to see, and I still talk to everyone. I have no bad blood with anybody. Like we all still talk and we all still remember those times. It was funny. But so I would say around like 2015 is when my Avision project like became serious. I had proper management under me, the Jermaine Santiago, who's a New York native, man. He's managed Roger Sanchez. We're still really good friends to this day. He managed me for a really long time along with his partner Nick. I'm still very close with Jermaine, we still talk. But things happen in business, and you try to always never burn a bridge. Never. In all my years of doing business, I've never burnt a bridge, and I'm very grateful and very thankful for the times we had together. We had a lot of fun, and a part of me always misses having him next to me. It was a lot of good times, but I was business, like I said, and it's just a matter of your career change, times change, and you want to push forward and keep things going. So like I would say around 2015, things started getting serious. We built it. I started opening up for a lot of guys.
Is that when you just kind of like your sound was pretty clear for you?
Everything
like
was
the shows
clear.
you wanted to be playing, like all
man.
of that?
Yeah, everything was clear. You know, it was very much the goal here was to become the guy that, you know, is taken seriously, playing for a lot of big artists, playing under a lot of big artists, and you know, how do we build that and brand that and keep building it?
Was there a moment that like cemented that?
Yeah, I would say there was this weekend that I played with Joseph Capriati here, and then I played with Victor in Stereo Montreal. And like those relationships that Victor built naturally in a way, like Victor kept requesting me. He would request me here on his bigger shows. He would request me in Montreal. Like he's held a residency down there for years at Stereo, and now I've had the opportunity to have that, you know, that opportunity where like I could play there 2 times a year.
Is that a really special? I mean, I've heard amazing things, but
yeah,
I'm sure it's changed a lot too.
I'm playing next week. It's actually I'm playing this weekend. I'm sorry. It's New York in the 90s bottled into a room in Montreal. Wow. That's as simple as it gets. It's just you're in a time bomb, man. Yeah, it's all about the music. You hear the whistles, the screams, the cheering, you know, you get the guy in the corner jumping up and down and just doing random shit, and then you get the guys that are just on to the right just doing their own thing. Like it reminds you of being in a club and why you're there. It's to me, it is the best outside of Refuge in Brooklyn.
Yeah. I was gonna say, is that
that's the closest venue that's come as close to Stereo. You know, it's definitely on its way there. They're still doing things and they're still tweaking it, and I love that every time I'm walking into Refuge that there's something new that they haven't had when I was there last. And I think that's so important, and I love that because the club owners are dialed in. They want the best for their club. They want the best for the experience of their crowd, and they want the best for the DJs and the scene. And call it what it is, man. New York needed it big time. You know, there's some great clubs, but like New York needed that proper sound room that is a landing space.
Exactly, and one that's like it's not trying too hard to be too underground. It's not.
There's no too cool.
Yeah, there's no too cool. No, exactly.
It's just. It's an open playing field, and I love that about that, and that's what makes it special. You know,
because there was nothing. I mean, there was like those kind of like spots that maybe went a little too mainstream,
underground,
or too underground, and like I feel like there wasn't, at least for a while.
There was no hub
that was like kind of a
for a while. I would say this spot has taken the place of like an Output.
I was
like
literally gonna. I was gonna say Output. I think was
too cool for school, but not too cool enough where they wouldn't book someone that, you know, can't draw and pack out the place. You know what I mean? And you could trust the club. That's the biggest thing. I think having to go out every weekend or to go out once in a while and just go.
Yeah, not have any idea who's playing. Just trust.
That's the beauty.
No, I mean
that's awesome, and you had a great time.
It doesn't happen that much anymore. I don't think
it doesn't, because people go for ticket sales, and that's why DJ fees are $50,000 plus, and people need to spend $200 a ticket, and all these things play into that. You know, but if you just built the right space and the right environment for these people to enjoy, you start to see how those things don't matter, you know, and a good DJ is a good DJ, and a good dance floor is a good dance floor, and no matter what you put in, exactly, man, and that's so important. It really is, and I'm happy that you know, club like Refuge exists now, and it's a place that I get to, you know, call a landing space for me. I call it a second home. You know, I love being there.
Yeah. And didn't you have this special event there with Rock Cuts too? It was outside, but
and it was before it really like got to open, and that was an amazing night, man. We had our pizza truck there. We had cannolis going around. Like it was just like your staple like New York type of stuff. You know, it was like Italian American, obviously influenced, but yeah, man, it was the first time the outdoors got to crack open, which was nice. And the Raw Cuts guys, they're the best.
They're the best.
Great guys.
They care a lot.
They are everything I align with in this industry. You know, they're young guys. They get it. They care about the music. They care about the right vibe, the right people in place, and it's just that freedom of nightlife and the culture. And I'm happy that they've had great success and they continue to have success. And I wish them nothing but more success, because guys like that are the right guys in this industry. You know, they're They're not looking at it for a dollar. They've taken money out of their pockets. They've shown that they have the right, you know, integrity and power to do things, which is nice. You know, they deserve it all. I'm really happy for them. Really.
I feel like you've gotten to a place in your career where, like, even though you're still pretty damn young.
Yeah.
But like you have
Thank you. I'm gonna hold on to that.
because you've like been doing this for a long time, you got started early.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've already gotten, and you just know a lot of the old heads.
Yeah.
Where you've kind of like, I feel like you're this interesting bridge between this kind of like
new generation.
You know, this new generation and the older generation, and like kind of carrying a torch.
I agree with that, in a sense of like, my biggest goal coming up was I have to turn the heads of these guys that came before me. I want to get Danny Cardinale's respect. I have to earn my cousin's respect creatively. You know, fuck family shit, excuse my language, but like I have to turn his head to say, my cousin's badass, man. I want him to play with me. I want him to make a record with me. And that was all I was after for a while. You know, guys like Carl Cox supporting me and saying nice things about my music. Like that's what I did it for. And then you get to that phase of like, well, that was cute. That was fun.
Felt nice.
Now we're after it. Now I got to make a living. Now I have a wife. Now I have kids. Now I have all these things that all that shit does not matter anymore. It was cool when that was happening, but now this is a different ballgame now, you know? And yes, I've seen a lot and I've got to experience a lot, and I'm grateful that you even considered me like to be that bridge in the sense of like the younger community and the guys that have done it before us. I don't want to call them old because they're really not old. Yeah. They're still doing it, man.
Exactly. I mean,
you know, like these guys didn't retire. No one's retired. You know, they're still
in the game for a long time.
Exactly, and which shows you that this career is. I mean, dude,
it's a real career.
You could have a 45-year long career. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, there's like I go and see Danny Crivet pretty often, and it's like that dude's been around forever. I mean,
he's the same age as my dad.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's like these people have been.
God bless them. You know,
I mean, even like Nicky Siano still plays.
Yeah, dude. Oh, Nicky Siano, man, that's old school
like,
Brooklyn.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I mean, that dude's playing was, you know, for I want to say it was like the Gallery. I think. Yeah. And you in like 75 or 76.
Yeah, I just saw that documentary. There's a documentary on that, or like there's a little interview piece on that I saw. That's, I mean, crazy.
It's like, talk about longevity, though. I mean, people who are just like.
Yeah, I mean, they were there for the birthplace of club life, starting in New York. You know what I mean? They were guys that were responsible for it, which is like.
And that we still get to see them sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's unreal. It is, and that's what shows you that house music, and it's not going anywhere. You know, this thing has been here and it's not going anywhere. It took the place of disco, and there's always a need for dance music. There's always need for that expression. You know, and I'm ready to ride the train. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I mean, where do you see your sound evolving, or do you see it evolving?
Yeah,
or do you see kind of your, you know, this like you in 2026?
Yeah,
like
I think
this kind of next phase of your career.
Yeah,
like
it's weird because like I'm always trying different things in the studio, and I'm always trying something new, and I feel like in the last few years I've gone through this little change of my sound. Like I was super techno heavy, then it was tech housey, I would say. I always followed the roots of tech house, but I was going more like underground, Ben Sims, techno style stuff, but still keeping it at like 130 BPM. And then going into more of like, I started messing around with Plex, and like I was going through that whole phase. And now I'm kind of in that phase of like, I just want to make good house music, like stuff that could stand the test of time. And like, I'm after writing a hit like, you know, that's, you can name any of them. I'm just after writing that, you know, Brighter Days, something like that, that is that nostalgic, that hits for years to come. I'm after that more so, but I know it's not going to just come with me forcing that. It's just going to come, and it's going to happen. I know I have it in me. I know I have that ability to write something that's catchy or hooky enough. But I don't want it to be corny, and I don't want it to come off like, oh, he's selling out. I just want it to come off as it's me. And that's the hardest part, but it's also the beauty of it because I just have to write.
I mean, yeah, what's your process to like not get carried away with what you're seeing
I think
in
the
the
perfect
algorithm,
example
with what you're
is,
you know,
is something like Hey Hey by Dennis Ferrer, right? Like that to me was a perfect balanced record of it's radio friendly, but it's not it's not sellout.
Yeah, it's not appealing to the lowest common
No,
denominator.
it's not, you know, but it's super catchy and it's catchy enough to play it on the radio. So fuck, Dennis got a hit. You know what I mean? And Dennis has wrote hit after hit in my opinion.
Crazy.
For our scene.
Were you there that day? And I forget if you were there in that day in the studio, but like I think that's
Yes.
how we met. The one it was like the King Street.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't, bro. I didn't put 2 and 2
Yeah,
together.
so that I think that was the first and only time we met. Where
my
you were
God.
working in the studio across
With Dennis.
the room.
Yeah.
And I was there. I think I came the day after.
Oh shit.
Dennis was there.
Yeah.
And it was like me, this other guy, and Barbara in the room.
Yes.
But
Barbara, man, she still sounds unreal.
Insane.
It's crazy.
But I think that was the
first.
first.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. That was a good writers camp.
Totally.
I didn't get anything. Nothing sparked from it, but like
I still have a demo.
Same.
Unearth and see.
Yeah, you never know where it goes. But a guy like Dennis, I mean, he's inspired me immensely. But like, dude, that style of writing, everyone should take notes from because it's the perfect balance of underground, commercial, not commercial, but like still just enough to make it's palatable.
Totally.
Where like my dad would turn around and be like, "What is that?" You know, and that's when I know you've made a record. I love that, and so like that's the style of something I'm after, where it's like I want to write something that's just tastefully there. I'm not trying to copy another artist. I'm not trying to sound like another, or you know, everyone's going that disco route now. I'm not trying to do that. Disco has been something that's in my bloodline since I'm a kid, and I don't need
musicality in your music.
Exactly. I don't need to go that route. I just want to touch on what I like and something that's tasteful, and little by little it's coming out because now I'm doing these writing sessions with other singers and other writers, and it's like when I was in Ibiza a few weeks ago, like I did 2 writer sessions in a day, and it was great. Like I fucking hit the nail on the head. Like this is awesome. But now it's a matter of just bringing that to life. And these last few that I've been writing, I'm like, it's almost there. It's getting there. It's getting like you're there. Like the last like 2 years, I've been playing around, writing more housey stuff, and the sound is there, but it's not. I know for a fact, it hasn't peaked yet. It hasn't hit that hit after hit moment.
But I feel like you have a like great enough ear where you would know too.
Yeah.
I feel like you'll when it's there.
Yeah.
Like
it's funny because people always ask like, oh, dude, you don't play a ton of your music. When I DJ, I don't think of myself as like I'm playing my own show.
But you might be playing 1 or 2, 3.
I'm always playing new stuff. I'm trying them out, but like I don't like going back and playing like something I made 2-3 years ago. I really don't.
Yeah.
I've
listened to that enough.
Yeah. Like then someone asked me the other day when I was playing, did you play Party Started? And I was like, like that was more of my techno sound, but like I'm playing more house now and like going through that wave. Oh man, but you'll be back, right? I was like, listen, that's the beauty of a career. You never know when you're gonna. And I never know when I'm gonna make it. I made a techno record 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It never leaves. It's just what
the creativity
what mood you're in
you
for.
Don't really know exactly.
Yeah, but it's funny. Like I was like, even if I was playing techno, I probably wouldn't have played Party Started. I'm not one to be like, oh, that was my bigger record. I'm gonna play that. Sorry, there's new shit. I want to write new stuff. I think I love holding back like 10 records and I'm getting to rinse them all and you don't know what it is. I don't know if that's just the old school DJ in me
but I
type
think there
of
is
feel.
something really
I think that's fun
about that.
There is. Like I love seeing the Shazam not processing.
Oh, it's the best.
It's fucking awesome.
I love it when that happens too.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm just like either this is some unreleased shit or something that was never digitized.
Yeah.
No one's ever finding
which is
it,
so awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the big
that.
things that like helped me or like inspired me to start building a like record collection too. It's just like I want to find, like, I've gone to see a lot of, Cynthia Eris Drew, Octa,
I
like a
love
lot of these
Cynthia.
people who just like,
Yeah.
will be playing a lot of records that you can't Shazam,
Yeah.
and just like all
That's
this
the
stuff that's
beauty
never
of
been
it.
digitized, and like,
Yeah, man.
there's a lot of DJs like doing an amazing job digging and finding all that, and
Yeah.
like, I was just like, okay, like my turn, like I want
Yeah.
to try to find like some of this
Yeah,
stuff
of
too, because
course.
it's like there's so much music,
There
especially
is.
from the 90s and
There
early
is.
2000s, that would just never digitize.
Oh, dude, forget it.
It's ridiculous.
I ask Victor all the time, like, dude, can we just like spend 2 days and
Just digging through.
go through what you got? Like, because there's just, I'm sure it's bomb after bomb. What made you move to New York?
So my now wife was starting grad school here. So
Wow.
that kind of inspired me. And I was also just at a point in my career where I was like,
Yeah.
I had maybe been making music for like a year and a half, 2
Nice.
years. And I said I had like, like very moderate success,
Yeah.
but like enough where I was like, let's see. I mean, we're better to like test it out than
Yeah,
New
of
York,
course.
and like probably get humbled real
I
quick,
agree.
but at least,
Yeah.
like meet a lot of people, experience a lot of like,
Yeah.
I was like, at least my first 2 years I was out like twice every weekend, just
Nice.
like,
Yeah.
just in it.
That's why I was
And
always
just,
scared
like-
to live here.
No, exactly.
I feel like I'd
mean,
be out every day.
it was just like I was
Yeah.
just experiencing like as much as I possibly could.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I am like, it's shaped me so much. And
Yeah.
I think like I'm at this kind of like next phase in my time here too, where I'm just like, you mentioned like sometimes you need to take that like week or two off, or just like kind
Yeah.
of like, reassess, or just like kind of just like give it
It's
a
super
pause. And I'm
important.
kind of like, I'm in like a slightly longer version of that, but kind of also in this phase of just
Yeah.
like,
Dude, sometimes there's 3 weeks I don't touch it. Or there's just days I touch my studio just because I need to touch it.
yeah, just
I'm not going to write anything. I know I'm not. I suck today. It's fine. But just touch a keyboard.
mm,
Right? Play piano. Just get those juices. And then sure enough, you never know.
mm,
Play with a sample.
Yeah.
Mess around with a disco track. You never know what you're going to get. So I do
would that
force
be a lot
myself.
of your biggest advice too? Of just, I mean, some of my biggest,
Yeah.
like Demure, for example, he's
Yeah.
like one of my like
Great
first
dude.
mentors.
Great dude, man.
And he's also someone who's like, I mean, he's built like a whole like community,
Yeah.
Patreon, like all this around this. But he's telling all these young producers, and I was there 5
Yeah.
years ago, like just do this every day.
Yeah.
Like, just like wake
Yeah.
up, whatever,
Just wake up and do it.
And like even if it's
100%.
30 minutes, something, it's like just
It's
like
like-
being around it. And
if you're exercising and dieting, right? Sometimes you take a day off, but you know what? Do something beneficial for yourself. It's the same aspect. It's like if you really want this life, just touch it. Just go in and play piano or work on something. Work on your mix downs.
yeah, exactly.
Something
Go
that's
through some
beneficial.
old demos of
yeah,
yours that you
dude,
forgot
go
about,
back
like
and
something. Just
you'll be surprised how many stuff I actually like will just go back into and be like, dude,
Wait,
why
this
did
is
you
awesome.
stop
No,
working on
literally,
this?
that's one of my favorite things to
Yeah,
do.
like, dude, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like your
you
ears
need the
suck
fresh
back
ears
then.
though.
Yeah, it's true. And then there's times I'll finish something. I'm like, oh, dude, I got a ripper. Like
Then
this
you
is.
listen the next day and you're like,
And you're
what
like,
is
dude, this
this?
sucks, man. Like, what are you thinking? The mix down's terrible. Like, well, give up. Like, just stop. But that's the beauty of being a producer, I think.
Yeah.
You never know which one you got,
Totally.
but you can't give up, and you got to work on it. It's something that's a full-time job at all times.
Totally.
I always bring my second laptop with me when I'm on the road. I have long shows. I'll always bring it with me just to, even if I'm on the plane, I wake up from a nap. All right, let me touch something. Let me just work on it, because there was a year, I would say around like 2017 to 2019, I was on fire. I was just bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb. I was working on
Something
it. And at
clicks.
the time I was tour managing with Victor. I would go on the road with him. Sometimes I'd open, sometimes I'd just go with him. And I'd be on the plane and I'd send him promos. Like, I'd send him a demo right there. Like, I'd airdrop him a demo. He'd be like, just made this? And I was like, yeah. And I'm sitting next to him on the plane, and I would fire them off. He would test them out, and I'd be like, that's the one. And it was a very cool experience. It was very, very rare opportunity. I'm very fortunate for it. I'm very lucky. But yeah, dude, I always recommend giving some effort there. If you're not gonna, finish something or work on something at least 5 times a week, then just don't do it. Because this thing is all about repetition, all about becoming better. There's no secret sauce. It's just a matter of the work that you put into it. And yes, times have changed. There's there's other technology out there that's helping musicians. Or fuck, I just saw TikTok the other day. There was a guy promoting a full AI record, singing into the camera and promoting. I could hear it. You could hear what Suno sounds like. I mean, they all have the same reverb. They all have everything. It's got a sound to it. And I was just like, I'm just like, really? Like, this is whack. Like, there's no creativeness behind it. Even if he wrote the lyrics for it, doesn't matter. You know, I think it's some of it's cool, where it's like, I wrote these lyrics, I have this melody. I just want to hear
what it would
what the
sound
concept could sound like, so I could take it to someone and
like
be
a
like,
demo. Exactly. Like,
I think it's perfect for that. I think you got.
I've done that before. I mean,
me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I have a full Bruno Mars demo that I would love to get to Bruno Mars. If Bruno Mars is watching, you should listen to my demo. But it's something I wrote. It's something that I hummed into my phone, that I put into Suno, that I said, I wrote all the lyrics and I let it ride. And it got to a T exactly what I wanted, but now I could listen to it. Yeah. And now I could say, wow, this would sound amazing if we just tweak this, and if we had musicians play it, and it's a full-on record at that time. But I don't agree with just going live with it at all.
Well, that's using it. It's the difference between using it as like
a tool,
creative helper tool, like a co-pilot, versus like as the art itself. Yeah,
I think it's perfect for if you have a vocal idea and you wrote lyrics and you need to just hear it in the mix and hear what that flow sounds like. I'm totally guilty for that. I've done it. You know, I wrote a vocal, sang it into my phone, dropped it in, want a girl's voice on it, let me hear it with a girl's voice on it, and throw it into my project, and let's see how it sounds. And you know what? Chances are it sounds pretty damn good, because it got exactly what I was looking for. But is that my final mix? No, it's not. You know, I think it's great to get an idea out, but it's not it.
No, it's not it.
Yeah, go try again.
I guess, like, you know, aside from writing the next, the next house hit, or just all-time classic, what's like, what's going on in your world that you're like excited about? I know you've alluded to some things. I even be curious about like how kind of going more towards this kind of like house sound, like or back towards it, like, is that changing the shows you're playing? Are you thinking about even like changing the labels you're wanting to work with? Like...
So I think overall, you know, I stopped caring so much. Obviously associations are important, and I care about what associations I have, but like I stopped caring so much of putting pressure on me releasing on Jamie Jones's label or Defected or any of these labels. Because you know what? At the end of the day, I am the writer to my success. There's enough tools out there to push your records, promote your records, and get the algorithms to pick up your tracks.
And I think ultimately it's like, and maybe I'd be curious if this was your experience too, like you want to be working with people and aligning with people that want to support you and be aligned with you. It's like, it's like versus like,
100%.
You know, just clawing at the door for someone who is maybe not that into it.
I've been down that road. Like I've sent demo after demo. I've released on some of the bigger labels that are out there, and I've had great success with that. But now I'm after my own story, my own thing, my own destiny. And I call it what it is. Like, I want to own the records that I'm going to write, in a way. You know, like I know in the next 5 years I'm going to write something that's going to be big. And if I don't, all good. It's no pressure, but like I will put money on it. I'm going to write something that's big in the next 5 years. And why not own that? Why not be the person that could benefit the most out of your own hard work? And yes, it's great to work with labels, and I'm not one that's like, oh, fuck the big labels, screw that. Like, I'm not that guy. I think it's two sides of everything. Totally. And they're making that risk, and they're taking that chance with your records, and they're putting the money behind it, and it's up to your team and for you to, you know, go out there and support it. But why not be the creator of your own destiny? And you know what? Having my own label so far has taught me a lot. And it's taught me that you need the right team behind you. You need a good marketing plan. You need all the right assets. You need some money behind it. And those things are important, whether you work with another label or your own. But I do love having the freedom of just saying, you know what? 5 weeks I'm releasing this. I don't got to worry about nothing. Get my promo feedback. Cool. Everyone's playing it. Great. Awesome. next.
Is that kind of where like the path
Right now,
you see yourself kind of continuing?
yeah,
Just like investing in your own label, building that.
I think, listen, I do want to have some more associations under like the house realm, because I have a few, but I don't have a ton, and I'm not looking for a ton. I just want a few. I don't want to have, like, when I was working on my techno stuff, there was Cocoon, there was Drum Code, there was Hard Groove, there's a decent amount of labels I was working with, and they were all getting love, but and I was playing for a few of them, which was great.
And then there's even those kind of hybrid labels, like records,
So those are, I see myself aligning more with Radio Slave and Records and guys like that. Yeah, I think he carries those values that I carry.
Totally.
And the labels, come on.
I mean, iconic.
Probably the top label in the last 10 years, call it. He's touched every milestone and every genre that he's working on.
It's a proper tastemaker label.
It's like Damian Lazarus, man. Like he's a proper tastemaker. Like Crosstown Rebels, I got to work with them, and they're just amazing at what they do. And he's
and
great.
Not every release sounds the same, and
not every release is a hit.
Yeah, and not everything's.
I don't play every release, but
my
you know what?
piece on Wrecked was not a hit.
Yeah,
but
same. Honestly, but you know what? It did its thing.
Exactly.
And I love that style, and I to see those guys have success is amazing to see, because they deserve it. They've put the time in. They've put a lot of effort into building other artists, and that takes an army, man. It's not easy to get the amount of promos and demos they get. You know what? People started sending me some demos, and I'm like, damn, this is
like, is this what
this
it's like?
This is a full-time job, dude. And as you know, I have enough full-time jobs. Like, so you need A&R, you need someone to help you. And I think and you have to really trust someone, because what's to say they don't miss one?
Yeah.
And then you're pissed. There's so many stories where guys missed one and they signed it to somewhere else and it blew up.
Wait, you would send that to me?
Yeah. He sent me that first. Like, you don't want to be that guy. But even guys like Adam Beyer, man, like I've had the pleasure of working with him, and I really respected the fact that he was all in, bro. That is the only guy listening to that demo. It's crazy. But like, you know how many demos that guy gets? And that's why it's like the hunt for the right email. Like you're searching and searching, but really it just comes about building that reputation as an artist, number one, and building your relationship with him. I remember, great story, I was playing Brooklyn Storehouse with him and Eric Prydz. And this was before the pandemic. I was maybe like 23 or 4 years old. I got to open the night, and I gave Adam Beyer a USB stick. And he messaged me on Instagram the next day saying, "Mate, I lost your USB stick. Do you mind sending here?" I said, "Sure enough, there's my first Drum Code release." And like, granted, that's a different style from where I'm at right now, but it was still very much a part of my journey.
Totally.
And I built a great relationship with him. He's a great guy. And I just have a high regard and respect for someone like that, that's so in tune with what he's doing and what he's releasing, because that's, like I said, aside from being a DJ producer, being the A&R is a major responsibility, and it's a full-time job. And not only are you traveling across the world, you're also in that mist listening to who knows how many demos that guy gets.
Hundreds.
Oh,
thousands.
Thousands.
Certainly thousands.
Crazy. Like that is nuts. Like that's why I almost rather not open that bridge and be more selective with guys that I almost want to handpick. But I'm open to getting demos on my label. I think it's awesome. I would love to reciprocate.
You're gonna put the email in the...
No. But listen, I tell everyone to just send me a link on Instagram, to be honest with you, because I'm quicker to that than sometimes my email. Unfortunately, as sad as that is, like, at night, I'm in bed, my son's sleeping, my wife's sleeping, my other son's sleeping, and if I'm scrolling, I'm most likely on Instagram. And if you send me a demo, I'll just email it to myself and check it out the next day. But I don't know if I can deal with the 1,000 demos. That's crazy.
You don't need that.
No.
Not when you're also running your your restaurant business.
Yeah, man.
Which
it's a lot.
I can't believe we hadn't gotten to that. But I guess without like going crazy deep in the story, I feel like some I guess like the thing. So I mean, TLDR,
Yeah.
some of you may know this, like this man has a successful and wonderful pizza business.
Yes.
Started like as a truck, now brick and mortar.
Yeah.
And I think you obviously have amazing taste with music. I'm sure you have amazing taste with pizza.
Listen, man, I was a lot heavier than this at one point.
Yeah. Well, you had to taste your product.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess I should ask, is it like more pizza Napolitana, or is it more classic?
So now,
classic New York slice, or what?
The pizza truck it's all Neapolitan style pizza, just Neapolitan pizza. We do catering and stuff like that, but the restaurant has a flair of, you know, old school Sicilian dishes with Italian American dishes, along with pizza Napolitana. So like we are strictly pizza Napolitana, but I do love New York style pizza. And every now and then,
the next question. I mean, what's your favorite? This could be Jersey or Staten Island or New York. Like,
to me, I love a good like marinara pie.
Okay.
Olive oil, sea salt, a little garlic, and fresh Sicilian oregano. That to me is like, it starts there.
Okay.
You judge a place off its margarita, because if you can't get that right, you cannot do anything else right, in my opinion.
Who gets it right?
A lot of places.
Okay.
I mean, we're in the Mecca.
Yeah.
You know, aside from the motherland, I think hands down. And don't give me any Connecticut bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Not saying that that's not good pizza. That is good pizza. But like you're in the Mecca of every style of pizza. You have the #1 Neapolitan style pizza spot in the world in New York.
What is that for you? Do you have
Una Pizza Napolitana? Okay. They are #1. Yeah. Anthony Cardinale has hit #1 a few years in a row.
And you'd agree? Like you?
Fuck yeah. I sat there with my partners and my buddy. We went there before we opened up our spot. There's 4 of us, and we got 4 pies, and we're like eating slice after slice, and I'm like, dude, we got to get another one. We ordered another 3 pies. They stopped us because there's a 1 dough per person limit. But, you know, it was that good. And I just loved the fact that he's a tastemaker from start to finish. He cares about the product he's getting. He cares about the ingredients he's getting. The dough is just made by him. That says so much, man, because he cares so much about his product that he's the only one to touch that dough. That's nuts when you're the #1 in the world. But that's what it takes. And that's why a guy like me wouldn't be #1 in the world, because call it what it is. I'm on a plane on the weekends, and someone else is making our dough recipe.
Well, that's why you can be #2.
Yeah, I'll try. But like, you know, that's his thing, and I think that's amazing. And guys like that I've learned from, because there's such amazing workmen.
I mean, there's commitment to the craft.
The craft, and the same way I care about music is the same way I care about our pizza and our product. And I've hand tested everything that we put on that pizza. You know, every recipe on that pizza is something that I've created along with my partner, and you know, I care about every ingredient that goes in it. I've changed our olive oil. I've changed our tomatoes 5 fucking times already in the last year. You know, those are just things that you constantly are working at, and it's like music. You're constantly working on your craft. And I think that's why I align so well with pizza and having a restaurant, because it's never perfect. And that's the same thing with music. And I feel like if you put that
better every day,
if you put that little bit of effort in and change something that could be better for the restaurant or your career, you know, it's just one more day that's getting better. And I don't want it to be perfect, because that means I settled. And I love the fact that you're chasing better mozzarella, better tomatoes, better olive oil, better sea salt, everything.
A better kick.
Yeah, better kick, better processing, better snare drum, better, you know, that's just, they both align really well. Same thing with clothing. I feel like they all kind of mingle with each other. And those 3 things, those 3 components are huge for me. I love clothing. I love having a restaurant. I love being a creator. I love sitting down with my chef and being like, yo, what do you think of that? Like, I saw this. What do you think about doing it this way? Or dude, my nonna would make us this in the summer. What do you think about like just elevating it a little bit? Give me something that's going to just make this pop a little bit. I love doing that. That is the beauty of owning a restaurant, and the beauty of being someone that has the power to be able to do that. You know, not everyone has that that fortunate side to make calls like that, and I'm lucky that I have that shot where I could dictate what hits the menu, what doesn't hit the menu. Let's save that for winter. Let's save this for summer. Let's do these things. I don't like our meatballs. My meatballs and my family makes are better. You know, like
I mean, you're curating.
Yeah,
Like,
I love curating. I
like
really do.
And that's what I think like the in the broadest sense of the word, the artist does.
Yes.
Like it's curation.
And as I've gotten older, I've realized that is part of my strength. I might not be the best at it. I don't know. You know what I mean? I only know from just what we're doing. And every day I plan to get better at that. But like, I love being in that situation. I love looking at stuff and saying, wow, that design is killer, man. Like, I love seeing that. I love being able to, me and my partner designed most of the restaurant, and, you know, we're balling on a budget. You know, there was times we're on Facebook Marketplace looking at table bases because that's the right table base, but it's not the right top, and we're taking the table base. You know, like, there's just things we were learning from this first restaurant, and it was a beautiful ride. It really is. And we're still doing it. We're redoing the men's room right now and the foyer area, and we're getting ready for our football season coming up, because we're the
sports bar.
Yeah, we have this perfect balance of being a restaurant and sports bar, but not sports driven. Like, on social media, you'll see us, like, we'll advertise a game on our story, but like, our feed is not sports driven. It's all about food and proper cocktails and drinks. And that's what I wanted. I never wanted a restaurant to just be so one-sided where you're pigeonholed to just sports. Well, what happens when sports season's up and you can't offer that? Yeah. You need to have good food. Yeah. You know, why not just be the hometown hero? Be the guy that, you know, like a Cheers, the modern day Cheers. And that's what we are. We're the Italian version of a Cheers. We're your local spot that you can always trust, know that there's going to be good quality, and the menu's going to change seasonally, God willing, as long as we can get our shit together.
What's the name of the spot?
The restaurant's called the Bar Pizza Napolitana.
Okay, the Bar Pizza.
And then the pizza company is called CG Pizza, and I haven't gotten to anything else yet. We're working on, you know, expanding. Yeah. I don't want to rush into it. This is our 3rd season coming up.
Congratulations, big milestone.
Yeah, man. I mean, they say the 3rd season's your most important, right? This is like where things get real.
For sure.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I'm now excited and hungry, and I need to I need to taste this slice.
Whenever
so I'll have
you want,
to be
bro.
in there
Yeah,
soon.
man.
And
Absolutely,
bro, this has been a wonderful conversation.
Thank you so much, man.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate you for having me.
And
It's been amazing.